What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Buchanan Motorsports, and today we're back on the 2007 F250 6.0 Powerstroke. We're going back together with the oil cooler. If you ain't checked out our first video, this is probably part 2 of the series. We had some oil in the coolant. Check that video out. It explains all about what we did to try to diagnose what we had. So like I said, we're going back to go together with the oil cooler. Hope you're enjoying the content. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here we are. We're cleaned up about as best as it's gonna get. I mean, I wiped everything down several times with brake clean. Prep them surfaces. I'll wipe it down one more time right before I get ready to put that intake back on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the, if I can reach it here, put that oil screen back in there. Again, that's just a press fit, nothing really else holding that down. Just make sure it's in there good and seated. Make sure that whole area is nice and clean. We're gonna get the oil cooler housing and all that stuff. We're gonna get all that back over here. Make sure our surface is good one more time. Go ahead and stab it. And we're going back together finally. All right, we got our 10 millimeters locked in, torqued down. So we're ready to go in with the oil filter, the top of this piece. It's gonna house the oil filter, all that good stuff, housing. Get all that in, and then we'll worry about trying to get some of this intake manifold cleaned up one more time, and we'll try to slide this intake in before we have to go back together with our turbo housing. And those are going to be, I believe that's 6, 8 millimeter, 12 point. We'll get all the EGR stuff back in. Now that this is back on, we had to take that EGR cooler out to get to these 3 bolts. So we'll get the EGR cooler back in, making progress. It's kind of slow at this point, but progress is progress. All right, we got our EGR cooler back in. Be careful with this O-ring on the bottom side of this, that it doesn't get pinched. We'll get our 2 bolts, get that put in there. Got a kind of like a V-band clamp back there in the back, way back there. That's gonna be 11 millimeter. Get that good and tight, make sure it's good and snug, no issues there. And then we'll get ready for our intake with our new gaskets and our housing that goes on top of this. All right, guys, just jumping in here real quick. Like I said, we were able to do this by not taking the turbo completely out. I know that little tab right back there, if you can see it, caused us a whole bunch of problems. Yeah, right there in the middle of the screen. I shaved it down to where it would give us a little bit more clearance going in and out. Which helped. And then on the other side, there was another little bitty tab way back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Sorry about the lighting. It's kind of a bad time of day to be doing this, but I just shaved it down. They don't do anything. Like I said, that one just goes to the top of the EGR cooler just to support it. What I was kind of test fitting was seeing if I could get the top of this, the top part of this oil cooler and oil filter housing set up right here in, or if I could put the manifold on prior to doing that, but there's a couple bolts under here that you got to get to. So I don't have the gaskets under these yet, but I went ahead and put this in, and I've got 5 T45s that have got to go in, and then 3 T30s. And as you can see, I got it kind of propped up right here, up out of the way, so that I can get to the bolts and snug it down. The reason I did that was because it's hard to maneuver around this right here. And I probably could take that out, but I don't want to, there's some parts in there that are spring loaded. I don't want to mess with those. So I didn't do that. I just, like I said, just kind of put these both in here separately. This one's still loose. I got it back to where I need it. Now I can snug this down. I can get my gaskets and donut under here, get all that stuff into place, make sure it's all squared up, and then lock it down. So just the way I did it. I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not. It's definitely a lot easier to do that than the way I had to do it to get it out. Getting it out was a big time pain. But again, like I said, I shaved down that one little tab right there, minimized it. Like I said, it don't really do nothing anyway. If it was that big of a problem, you could probably get rid of it, but I don't want to go that far if I don't have to. Just something to think about. Hopefully that'll help y'all. All right, guys. So this is why it's always good to go back and when you put everything back in, make sure you got all new gaskets and everything. This is the gasket we pulled out of there. And it's kind of funky. It's not all tore up. I don't know. It's just really weird looking. But anyway, we got this little housing all cleaned up. This is going to go right there on top of your inlet going to your HER cooler. We got 2 T30s. We'll put that in, get that snug down, get it buttoned up, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're back at it. Been a couple days since I've been able to work on this. Been working. So anyway, we went ahead and got the intake buttoned down, 8 foot-pounds on all these 10 millimeters. Just a little torque spec on the that housing right there or the standpipe for the oil filter. Those T45s and all that T30s, that is a 16 foot-pound torque spec. Went ahead and threw on our turbo housing. I'll go ahead and get a couple more of these bolts put back into place so we don't have to worry about that. And then we'll continue moving forward, putting this thing back together. Again, I do have to replace a couple of these injector pigtails or solenoids, really, I guess is what you end up having to replace. So I'm probably going to go off on a little tangent here, knock that out before I get too much stuff in the way. A lot of the stuff has got to be taken off anyway, so I'll go ahead and knock that out. If you haven't seen our video on the dummy plug and standpipe replacement on this exact same truck, check that out. That seems to be a popular one. I guess a lot of people are having the same issues. So just a quick plug there. All right, like I said, I don't get too far off into the weeds over here on this injector solenoid replacement, but anyway, you got to get these 2 little clips on either side of that right there pushed in, and they'll slide straight down. Next, we're going to get I believe it's a T45, and make sure you use some type of a long shank T45 to get the hold down retainer bolt out of there. And then we'll pull the injector and we'll get the solenoid replaced. Again, I got those, I believe it was from Diesel Care and Performance. They shipped it out a couple days, real quick. They're not cheap, unfortunately, but I went ahead and sprung for brand new ones. That way I don't have any issues with these anymore. But yeah, that broken plug right there, as you can see, is what is causing us a whole lot more work. And getting this high pressure oil rail off, I've mentioned it in another video. Those 2 bottom bolts back there, the evaporator box right there, makes it a royal pain. So take your time with those. Don't get too frustrated. Try to come in the best you can from the bottom. Those are going to be a, let's see what that is. I believe that's a T. Yeah, it's a T30 to get the to get these high pressure oil rail bolts out. And those 2 down in there suck. So anyway. All right, guys, here's our number 1 injector. We got it pulled out of the motor, obviously. This is our hold down. The reason we wanted to use a long shank style Torx bit, T45, is due to getting the proper angle to get this hold down retainer bolt out. With something like these, it's real fat, and you take the risk of damaging your solenoid. If you're not out of replacing that, you're just trying to pull the injector or stripping out your bolt. So anyway, we're going to inspect all the seals, get these solenoids replaced. Diesel Care and Performance, I believe they're in Arkansas. The dieselcare.us is what they have here on the package. This is what we got. We got the whole solenoid and harness. Like I said, we're going to throw that back together, get these back in the truck. All right, this is how it's going to come off right here. You got this little plastic bracket that we'll have to pull off here. We'll go back on. These go back in with or they hold in there with a single bolt, T10 in like a 4 millimeter. And then you just kind of walk that through there. And then we'll get our, we have a little nylock style nut that'll go back on there to lock all that back down and make sure it doesn't come apart. But don't get crazy with that. Just snug. Pay attention when you're taking stuff apart so you can go right back together the same way. Pretty easy. This is pretty easy, guys. All right, guys, we got number 1 completed. Everything is locked down, nice and snug. We've inspected everything, cleaned up the end. No signs of copper crush washer leakage up into here. Our screens are clean. Everything's zip tied right back to where the factory had it. Everything's ready to go. So when you go back in with this is 25 foot-pounds. Your hold down is 25 foot-pounds. So make sure that that's an important one. If there's any slop in any of this, whenever you get that tightened down, that bolt may have stretched on you, and you may look at getting a new hold down bolt. So anyway, we're going back together. All right, guys, our new pigtails are back in. The solenoids are back in. Front and rear, torque down to 25 foot-pounds. Now it goes back on the high-pressure oil rail, so we can start making some more progress on this thing instead of fixing stuff we tore up. So again, just don't get overzealous. Be careful when you're wrestling this intake out of here that you don't get into these. If not, it's going to cost you a whole lot more work. If it was the other side, the high-pressure oil rail bolts are super easy to get to. You can have that side done in no time. This side, it just stinks because of those 2 back ones back there. So now we got to fight them getting back in, and at some point we'll get this thing finished up. All right, guys, spared you all the boring stuff of going back and forth with the putting everything back together. The last thing we're doing is checking the oil. Oil. We're going to add a little bit more to it before we fire it off. One thing I will note is that we did not have the FICM hooked up, and I went ahead and turned the key over and had the oil pressure basically priming itself since everything had been drained out. I didn't want the fuel injectors getting any type of signal to fire off. We weren't ready for that, so just basically had the FICM unplugged, turned it over, watched my oil pressure until it came up in the cab, and then knew that we had oil pressure and everything was primed. So we're getting ready to fire it off here for the first time. There it is. It's running again. Got one little bad gasket right there. It's going to cause us a little bit of problems. Lucky it's easy to get to, but I can see a little bit of a water leak right there. All right, so far so good. Everything seems to be sounding and looking pretty good, other than that one little bitty leak. Dang. All right. I think we did pretty good, hopefully.